Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moments Unplugged with myself, Mandisa Singwani. I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone that listened to the previous episode on seasons. Thank you for the beautiful feedback and allowing it to spark so many beautiful conversations. I'm utterly forever grateful. Today's conversation really also came from the conversations I was privileged enough to have based on last week's conversation, or the other week, based on the previous episode. And so today's episode is about starting afresh and having new beginnings. I'm pretty sure we've all had many firsts before, and we've started new things many a times in our lifetime. But I think some common ones that we may all have include things like starting school, starting varsity, maybe starting a new job, new hobbies, new sports, etc. And I mean, with a fresh start comes so many emotions: anxiety, uncertainty, nerves, excitement. I mean, it's emotional turmoil, but it's a great time. Honestly, a fresh start, there's nothing more exciting than a fresh start. It's like, yo, guys, it's like wearing in a new pair of shoes, or like, it can be likened to so many things, but it's a great time. One thing about a fresh start, Sana, it slaps. And some fresh starts are even just as simple as starting a new week or a new day, which are some things that we often do very commonly. And with every fresh start, a new beginning comes a new opportunity and a time to write a new story. And personally, I don't know what excites me more than a new beginning or like a blank page. There's something so exciting about having the ability to just start over, not having to figure out a plot twist or, like a pivot in your story. It's just a fresh start, and the narrative is fully in your hands and God's hands. And wow, that team, I'm telling you, that team can do great things, and that page can become a work of art. But something I believe is completely and utterly important about a fresh start is, before embarking on this new start, please always remember to invite the Holy Spirit and God to walk through it with you. I know sometimes we get so excited and like ahead of ourselves, and we think, wow, okay, I'm starting a new, like, whatever it is, and I can do this. Like, this is something I've always wanted to do, and like, it's completely in my hands. I've got it figured out. I know exactly what to do for this to go perfectly. And we forget to invite God. And then when it goes left, that's when we all want to, like, God, like, where are you? Like, like, what's happening? And I think that's one big mistake that we most commonly make. And so with whatever fresh start, even if you're about to start a new day today, please just invite God and the Holy Spirit. Bumi Ledwaba commonly says, or often says, that in the morning when she starts her day, she says, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. And that in itself is such a good practice. And I mean, you can find your own way to invite God and the Holy Spirit every morning, in every day, in every chapter of your life. Even if you're just about to start a study session, invite God, invite the Holy Spirit to see you through. And yeah. Now, something I also really know about having a fresh start is also the importance of completing it. And I think sometimes we start something and we don't really have a clear understanding or idea of what the ending will look like, of which is okay. But then it's also something not to be neglected, because not finishing something or leaving something half done could quickly also become a habit. The idea that when something gets tough or when something just doesn't go according to plan, it's null and void and it's just story for another day is actually, it's more detrimental than it is beneficial. And so I'd like to just really emphasize the importance of starting something to finish it. Even if it's not the ideal finish or the ideal ending, what matters most is the fact that there's been like sort of a full stop or a turning over of page that has happened, which is complete, which actually ends the story with a conclusion that makes sense, if you know what I mean. Because it becomes way too easy to just stop. Obviously, when things just start going left and overwhelming and literally they're just doing everything but going according to plan, stopping literally always feels like the most viable option or the easiest way out, of which it is most times. but not the greatest option. Not really the greatest option. I promise you, there's something about conditioning yourself to believe that stopping is okay that will just keep reoccurring in every sort of phase or season. And so this leads me to something that I believe is so important before even starting something afresh or embarking on a new beginning, is the planning of this beginning, okay? And in the planning, figuring out what your why is, the reason for you starting this, and sort of making it as solid as concrete. Because I think it goes without saying that with whatever you start, there will be some days of just chaos, and those days where you're just like, why did I even do this to begin with? But that's when the why becomes important, because it drives your obedience and your discipline. It does so much in the most crucial times, when you're just like, actually, I don't need to be doing this, or maybe you're not getting paid for it, so you're gonna be like, I'm not even getting paid for this, or I don't know, maybe you can't see the effects of what you've just started. Like maybe you were starting a new exercise plan, a new diet, and you can't see it working for you, and you're just like, it's not worth it anyways because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. The why becomes your saving grace in that moment. And so I believe that's almost nearly as important as finishing it, or maybe even more important than finishing it. The reason for you even starting is so important. Like I said, it will most often also be the reason why you keep thriving through the hardship and get to the very end, and hence it will drive you to completion, which is a bonus really. It allows you to show up even when everything around you is saying no. Maybe it's a hot day and you wanted to go jog, and now it's just everything's saying no. But if you know that you're trying to lose that 5 kgs, you're gonna do it because that is your why. If you know that you're trying to be on the dean's list at your school, and you set a goal of studying for, I don't know, maybe 10 hours a day, and today seems a bit like it's going towards 3 hours, if you know that you're trying to get on that list, child, you're going to study. And so that's why I feel like the why is so important. And if you can honestly just write it and copy and paste it everywhere and make it a reminder on your phone, that's great. I often have this little quote thing that I see, and I've written it everywhere really. And it's the saying, it's the word push, literally, which is push, and figuratively, when you break it down, it's pray until something happens. And so when you're also in that season where you're just it's a gray area and you don't know if you should just let this thing go or keep going, pray until something happens, and quite literally push. So do both simultaneously. And I really, honestly, it's worked for me in some seasons, and I hope it does for you as well. But that why is so important. So please put as much effort into it as you will the start. The preparation for that beginning is just as important as you starting it. People often say preparing or failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So don't become victim of that saying. So please prepare. Oh, champ, please. If there's one thing that you take out of this episode, it's preparing. Prepare for it, because things will happen. But if you're prepared, you'll be just fine. And so, as you start a new week, a new day, as you plan to start a new journey, a new hobby, a job, a new skill that you want to learn, anything it may be, I pray and hope that your preparation has been great, and I pray and hope that you'll have everything in you to see yourself through and get to the very end of what you want to achieve and what you've planned. A new beginning is great. Like I said, embrace the start, enjoy it, bask in the joy and the excitement of it being just fresh, of it being new. Invite God, invite the Holy Spirit, and if anything, I really hope you're able to see it through, and I really hope and pray that when you get to the end, you're able to say, wow, I did good for myself there, and also bring the glory back to God. But yes, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you've been able to get a few gems or something that you can use. And yes, I hope you have a good week, a good day, and we will check in soon. Bye, guys.